Hello everyone, my name is Yenna. I am a third year student in ASU. I'm majoring in marketing and fashion design. I'm also an international student from China. So if you are also an international student who is interested in off-campus housing, here's a video for you. When talking about off-campus housing, the first thing you might need to consider about is the cost. The rent ranges is very different, depends on the apartment you plan to move in or floor plan you plan to stay. I'm going to break down everything from the cost to Arizona Tenants Rights today. I've been there myself. Here's what I learned. The average rent could be very different, depends on what kind of apartment you want to move in and which floor plan you plan to stay. There's always choices from a shared room to individual room. Just for the reference, I live in an apartment 15 minutes walk away from the campus. I live with 3 roommates, so I live in a 4-bed 4-bus shared unit, and I spend around $900 every month just for the base rent. But in general, I would say for a student apartment, the rent will always stay below $2,000 every month, except for the base rent. There's also other costs and fees you need to consider about. When you sign the lease, you need to consider about the application fee. Me personally spend $150 just for the application. Other than that, there are always admin and moving fees. If you have a dog or a cat or any pets, they will charge you for pets fees. I know a lot of people are driving to school nowadays, so you need to pay for the parking if you have a car. Also, if your apartment is not furniture ready, you might need to buy the furniture yourself or rent the furniture from the apartment. That's exactly what my friend did. Besides all of that, utility is also a thing you want to do some research for. Utilities, for example, water, electricity, Wi-Fi, sometimes even trash. Remember to always check if the rent price listed online include the utilities or not. For example, my apartment included all the utilities except the electricity. If your apartment won't cover all the utilities I mentioned above, you need to expect paying $50 to $150 for utilities monthly, depends on the usage and the number of roommates. So please make sure to check how much you may need to pay for your utilities before you sign that lease. After all these costs and fees, we also need to worry about what if it's a scam? There's a lot of scams today. My own tip is to actually go on an in-person tour for the apartment, like actually seeing the room, what they look like. Are there anything broken? You need to make sure check the details. Also for the listing that have a very low price compared to others, you need to be extremely careful because there has to be a reason that the price is so low compared to others. The other tips is to making sure you're renting the room from some sites or website, or you're directly renting from the apartment itself, which you can trust, instead of renting it from an individual you have no idea who that is. After all about is considered and done, you sign the lease. Congratulations to coming to your new room. But even though you're living here, don't forget you also have tenant rights under Arizona law. For example, when you're living in your new room, but you figure your AC is broken somehow, and you maybe freak out, like so hot in the summer, what should I do? Should I fix it myself, paying the third party, or what should I do? No worries. The landlord has to fix that for you. That's one of the most important things mentioned under Arizona law, tenant rights, that the landlords are legally required to keep the property safe and livable, which means if you have anything broken, call the landlord for help. They will repair it. You don't need to pay for yourself. The other thing under tenant right you might need to pay attention about is the right of privacy. Be aware of the landlords. They cannot enter your room without any notice in 2 days, which means the landlord has to give you notice at least 2 days before entering. which is only accept emergency times. Another thing is you also need to be aware of you cannot be charged fees which is not listed in your lease. One time I received a bill of like way higher than I supposed to pay, and I called the leasing office and they figured they are charging me the wrong rent. They are actually charging me $300 extra because of a mistake. But I noticed that and I called them, so I fixed it. So please make sure to actually checking the fees before every time you pay the rent. That's pretty much all I wanted to cover for today. Please remember to check the costs and hidden costs before you sign a lease. Be aware of the utility fees before you sign that. Please check the renter's insurance. Remember the tips of how to spot the scams. Whenever anything happens, you have your tenants' rights under Arizona law. And yeah, that's all for today. If you want more ASU tips, please follow and subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye bye.